now presidential candidate of the NDC for the 2020 presidential and general elections.
We hear from the spokesperson of former President Mahama as the Office of Special Prosecutor begins to probe the matter. And top story is always brought to you by Bond Savings and Loans. Your success, our passion, also brought to you by Gasem Cement, the nation builder, and Vodafone. The future is exciting, ready. The governing New Patriotic Party is tonight accusing NDC flag bearer and former President John Mahama of direct complicity in the Airbus bribery scandal. At a news conference this afternoon, the party claimed that the evidence filed by UK and US prosecutors is enough to implicate the former president. According to official court documents filed by the UK Serious Fraud Office, the bribes, estimated around €5 million, were promised and partly paid between 2011 and 2015, spanning the John Mills and John Mahama administrations. Airbus sold 3 military transport aircraft to Ghana under controversial circumstances. Now, Airbus has admitted the bribes were paid using intermediaries across several countries, including Ghana. The aeroplane manufacturer will now have to pay $4 billion to settle the corruption inquiry in a corporate plea bargain. In Ghana, the special prosecutor is set to probe the matter after President Akufo-Addo referred the matter to it. Now, former Attorney General under the John Mahama administration, Marietta Brewer-Pelopon, had dismissed as false and misleading claims that Airbus paid bribes during the John Mills and John Mahama administrations. The MPP, however, at this news conference, dismissed the denials. Listen to Mr. Babi Asamoah, who speaks for the party.
In the face of these facts, it is very necessary for candidate Mahama to come out and be heard publicly. He cannot continue to hide behind us, including the former Attorney General. Of course, we are all aware that he hates answering questions about corruption. He would like to find out if the question is being asked as a former president or as a candidate of the NDC or as a human being. But answer he must, because at this moment, allegedly, all fingers point to him and one of his brothers, his long-lost brother, who he found in the UK. Document falsification, kickbacks, lies, and overpayment is what the Airbus scandal is all about. And it appears John Dramani Mahama is deeply involved. He should come out and tell us he was not involved. And if he was not involved, who were? Because at the time, he was the president. He presided over the team. He was the key decision maker. And he inaugurated the aircraft when they arrived in Ghana. Significantly, this is just one of Mahama's corruption scandals, where it is alleged that he personally leads the negotiations and for his close associates to execute on his behalf and collect the bribes. It is not sufficient for us to make the conclusion. He should come out and tell us whether or not he is government official one. And if he is government official one, can we entrust this nation's future to him? With his pension for getting involved in these funny matters. He needs to be able to let us know that he is trustworthy. He needs to let us know whether he is fit for purpose. Because that's what he wants to be, President of Ghana. In his capacity, then, government official one, high elected official, he hasn't conducted himself in the best possible manner. And court records prove it.
Well, the UK court documents had alleged that an intermediary, only identified as Intermediary 5, who was a close relative of an elected government official, had facilitated the illegal payments. The MPP claims this intermediary is a brother of former President John Mahama.
The narrative coincides exactly with the identification in the court documents. Because in my first coup d'etat, we are told that Samuel was taken to the UK at the age of 9 and hidden from his parents. I am quoting my first coup d'etat. My first coup d'etat identified the long lost sibling, the long lost brother as Samuel Adams Mahama, and that Samuel was taken to the UK at the age of 9 and was held incommunicado from his family because his father signed adoption papers without realizing what he was doing, and the British couple were fair to the adoption document, so they kept him away for several years before in the 90s he was reunited with his family. The court documents say that intermediary 5, who was in charge of Company D, which was doing the negotiations, directly involved in the negotiations, his profile shows that he is a Ghanaian-born UK national who immigrated into the UK at a very, very, very early age and found his family back in the 90s. So the two accounts coincide. And we believe that those accounts are cogent enough for us to infer directly that government official one is John Dramani Mahama.
So what exactly does the evidence before the UK court say about the identities of intermediary 5, who is alleged to have facilitated the illegal payments, and the so-called government official 1, who was allegedly induced? Parker, let's start with government official 1. Who is he according to the court documents?
Evans, what we know is that a high-ranking elected Ghanaian government official. He is also described as a key decision maker in respect of Government of Ghana aircraft orders between 2009 and 2015. We are also told that those officials took the relevant financials regarding the planes to the Minister of Finance so payment could be made to Airbus, and that this official also later expressed an interest in buying 2 more C-295 aircraft. No name was provided.
What about intermediary 5, who allegedly facilitated illegal payments?
Now, according to the statement, Evans, the facts presented to the court by the UK SOF, SFO, intermediary 5 is a UK national born in Ghana. He was brought to the United Kingdom as a young child and lost touch with his Ghanaian family until the late 1990s. Now, he had no prior experience or expertise in the aerospace industry. Now, I quote, a CV provided to Airbus in 2011 listed intermediary 5's employment before 2009 as an event manager for a local authority, director of a football merchandising company, and facilities manager for an estate management business. So that is what we know as far as the CV of intermediary 5 is concerned.
So all these contained in the court documents filed by the Serious Fraud Office in the UK, and instructively, those documents do not name any particular person, just leaves the clues. If you know the clues, you will know who the person is. MPP is already coming to a conclusion who these 2 individuals are. But Parker, you are at the press conference today. We know that the president had referred this matter to the special prosecutor to investigate. But there's a question about Martin Amidu, who is the special prosecutor's role in this matter, seeing that he was Attorney General at the time when the allegations, sort of revolved. What is the MPP's reaction to the concerns about him?
Yeah, Bob and asked about this particular question, and Evans, he tells me that if Martin Amidu believes that perhaps there will be some conflict of interest as far as this investigation is concerned, he should just allow the deputy to take charge and investigate the scandal.
I think that where he is now, he's in a position to use legal authority in his office to push this process forward. If he personally feels conflicted, I think his office is equipped because he has a deputy. That's the deputy special prosecutor. who can carry these matters forward. But I will not stand here and purport to determine these matters for Mr. Abid.
But you admit he was Attorney General.
Oh yes, but he was the one who was behind the formation of the committee on the Embraer. Perhaps he would have formed another committee on this one, or perhaps this one didn't blow up, so we don't know. But I think Martin is an experienced public official, and once the matter has been referred to his office, the protocols of the law setting up the office and the protocols of public life, codes of conduct and otherwise, because all these matters of conflict of interest are governed by law. If you are conflicted because you are doing official work, then I will find it difficult how we explain conflict.
That will be fair for him to step aside and let the office work.
I am not in a position to determine his procedures for him. You know Martin is famous for responding to issues, so he will respond to these matters himself, I'm sure.
Let's interrogate the MPP's claims. Let's speak to the party's Director of Communications, Mr. Bobby Asama. Mr. Bobby Asama, thank you for your time here on Top Story.
Thank you, sir.
So, how did you come to the conclusion that government official 1 is John Mahama and intermediary 5 is his brother Samuel?
Thank you very much for having me this evening, and good evening to your listeners. We come by it from the facts, piecing the facts on the court record, on the face of the court record together, as well as from John Mahama himself. Intermediary 5 is described in terms that are clearly, in terms of personal profile, the same as the person described in John Mahama's book, My First Coup d'Etat, as his long-lost sibling in the UK. Intermediary 5 is said to be a UK resident, born Ghanaian, who has been in the UK for several years whilst he was very young and has grown up there, and wasn't reconnected to his family till the 1990s. Now, when you go to My First Coup d'Etat talks about long-lost sibling who was taken to the UK at 9 years and didn't reconnect to the family till the 1990s. Then, the records go further to show that at a point in time when there was due diligence in the hope that a formal contract could be drawn as a business partner between Evans Mensah and Intermediary 5 and his company, it turned out that he was a close relative of government official 1, and therefore they couldn't go ahead and do that. It will be very rare in our scheme of things to find that government official 1, who was the prime decision maker, and in his capacity then in the 2011s as chairman of the Armed Forces Council, and later on in the 2015s as president, it would be a major coincidence to have another person who had a long-lost sibling in the UK.
I mean,
that profile.
You're thankfully you're a lawyer. This is official court document. The court documents themselves didn't name any particular individual. You pieced stuff together to come to the conclusion and put names to it. That is a political expediency, is it not? There's no fact to what you're suggesting.
I am not speaking as a lawyer. I am speaking and calling the presidential candidate of the NDC out to respond to these matters as the politician that he is.
Why must he respond to it? You have concluded that he's him.
If he doesn't, then he chooses not to, because what is stopping him from putting out the names? He presided over this process. In presiding over this process as chairman of the Armed Forces Council and as president, he indeed received the aircraft into the country. Why would he be reluctant to name names now if a matter has come up? The fact that the court record hasn't named them doesn't mean that they don't know them. It is just according to the record to preserve those identities, to bring them up as a matter of natural justice in the event of a court hearing. But this is Ghana. We have been traduced out there. Our reputation is at stake, and he is in the country. Do we have to wait for those court records to exonerate him by name? Otherwise, why would the former Attorney General come out with a blank statement saying that nobody did anything, so full stop? Why would Marietta not name the people who led the negotiations and who could have been government officials?
What purpose will that serve? Their point is that no bribe was paid, and so it's and remember that the SFO investigations, there's no mention that they had spoken to those they accuse on the Ghana side of either taking or facilitating bribe. This is purely investigations done. It's a one-sided investigation involving Airbus and details of document trail of communications, etc.
Yeah, but that is their point, Marietta's point. The question is, why did Ghana's name come up in a large bribery scandal? Why Ghana and not any other country? In a report that says huge bribes have been paid. And I hope you're not going to tell me that bribes are going to be paid with receipts. I hope you're not going to tell me that bribes are going to be paid in public. I hope you're not going to do that. The court record demonstrates that a team from Airbus was in Accra, facilitated to meet government official one, who also met that team in London. There were meetings. There were direct meetings between government official one and Airbus executives.
But a government official one could have been a defense minister.
Exactly. So they should come out and tell us who it was.
But isn't that why the president, the man who is barring any changes, could be your flag bearer for 2020, in fact, is in the Jubilee House on your ticket, has instructed the special prosecutor to probe? If the president knew that it was him, he would have simply gone ahead and forwarded it to the Attorney General to prosecute. Yet his party is already naming names. Meanwhile, the job hasn't been done by the special prosecutor.
That is why we commended the president for the reference. It would have ended there, but for the denial issued on the letterhead of the NDC by Marietta Briopon. She has turned it into a political process of denying through the political party, the NDC, that anything went on. She didn't come to deny as former Attorney General on an official letterhead. She came to deny on the platform of the political party, which is opposing us going forward into this year's election. And on the ticket of that political party is the man whose name is in dispute at the moment. So we are
you have made his name. You put his name out there. Nobody else has done so. You have formally held a press conference to do same. So that is your doing. And you have the evidence, you say, is circumstantial at best.
So he should deny it. They should come out and tell us who facilitated it. They were in charge of the government.
So now the principle is
the Armed Forces Council in a decisive decision-making role. Later became president in an even more decisive decision-making role.
Mr. Bobby, I made a reference to you're a very astute lawyer. You are saying that you are introducing a principle that the man who is accused must deny. You are accusing, you must prove.
Yes, but the proof is on the face of the facts. We have put our proof together. Deny that the proof is not sufficient enough for you. We have stated it. We are confident in our analysis. We are confident in our conclusions that the government official one could have been no other than John Dramani Mahama. That is our conclusion.
Do you trust the work that the special prosecutor is about to begin?
Why not?
So why didn't you wait? Why didn't you wait for that outcome?
We can't wait for that outcome, which is going on, because I have told you that already the NDC's denial is a political denial.
Yeah, but you can't wait because there's political capital to be made out of this.
No, the NDC's denial is a political denial. They chose to deny it on their political platform.
So you are also a member of Parliament. Is this something that Parliament is interested in looking into? Because Parliament approved this deal, remember?
I'm afraid I'm not speaking for Parliament in this matter.
Well, you're also a member of Parliament. In fact, my member of Parliament.
I am not speaking for Parliament on this matter. I am speaking as Director of Communications for the New Patriotic Party.
So your evidence is simply the what we've seen in the documents, no names attached, but you put a name to it as is this individual that you're now accusing. You reference my first coup d'etat. My first coup d'etat talks about an individual. It mentions the person was 9 years old, had gone to London. The document you cite to back this is the UK court documents, which only says that this individual was brought to the United Kingdom as a young child, didn't mention the years, lost touch with the Ghanaian family until the late 90s. I mean, I don't see how that exactly corroborates what you see in my first coup d'etat.
The coincidence is so clear. Very young is stated on both sides. Lost touch in between is stated on both sides. Reconnected in the 90s is stated on both sides. What more could we want?
I'm sorry, I don't see reconnecting the 90s in my first coup d'etat.
Go in there and look. There are extensive references to him.
Yes.
Go in there, look at the time for the
I have that page in front of me. I have that page in front of me.
Yeah.
There's
it isn't one page. There are scattered references to him going towards the end. Evans, the bottom line is that evidence, facts on the face of a court record gives us enough clues, enough inferences have been made. You can choose to look at it in a certain way, but we are saying that from piecing together everything on the face of that record, unless they want to impugn that record, unless they want to say that that record is inaccurate, unless they want to say that the record is a forgery, then based on that record, which we hold as fact because it's been in the court, we are confidently saying that government official one could have been no other than John Dramani Mahama.
I'm grateful that you joined me. We had reached out to Madam Joyce Bar Mutari, who's a spokesperson for John Mahama. We've sent the documents as put out today by the New Patriotic Party at this press conference. We've got a response back that the John Mahama's office will be issuing a statement on this particular allegation that the MPP is making, and that's the reason why you will not hear the spokesperson speak to us as of now. Once the statement comes, definitely we'll get to hear their side of the story. But let's bring in Mr. Evans Mensah, who is a co-chair of the civil society movement against corruption. He's also a member of the anti-corruption coalition. Mr. Mensah, what's your own reaction to these events unfolding in the last few days, which has culminated in the reference to a referral, rather, to the Special Prosecutor's Office?
Well, first of all, I mean, it's a very sad situation because our corporate image again as Ghana internationally has suffered a bad hit. It's good that the presidency has moved swiftly to ask the Special Prosecutor's Office to take a look at this issue. However, given the slow pace of results we are getting from that office, it's a great concern whether this is going to be dealt with in a timely manner such that we can have an understanding of was someone influenced, and if they were, who were those, and did that eventually affect the procurement process in favor of Airbus. These are very important issues, and if the presidency is so minded, they ought to also make sure that the Special Prosecutor's Office has the logistical capacity in terms of human resource to assign people to this so that we can get results and information as quickly as possible.
You raised an important point about capacity. So far, we don't have any confirmation yet that the Special Prosecutor indeed has received the formal complaint or referral and when the processes will begin. But as we've heard other jurisdictions already do, they've done on this matter. They've reached out to the UK counterparts and they are already working with the partners in the UK to get to the bottom of this. We're seeing that we have a diplomatic relationship already, and we've worked with the UK on some matters in the past. This shouldn't be one issue of great difficulty, should it? Because it appears they've done a lot of work already on this.
Well, it depends on what kind of evidence they have already. I think it is good that, yes, we have a relationship with the UK, and obviously if we ask for the documentation they have, that should give them strong enough leads to continue the process. But then to establish a clear enough case, one would then have do your investigation to establish the facts and to say that this person, there's enough evidence to say we're going to take it to court and prosecute you. So until they've received the evidence already and can assess it, it may be difficult to say it will be an easy case or not.
Well, very quickly, pardon me, the Special Prosecutor currently, Matamidu, was the Attorney General at a point when these matters unfolded. There have been questions raised about whether he can superintend this particular process. What's your own take on it?
Well, Mr. Martin, I don't think this should conflict him. I don't think that it should conflict him if it got to his attention. He has a track record of dealing with issues. It doesn't matter which side it falls. And I am quite sure that if he has the capacity about a key issue to be addressed, he'll be able to investigate and give us some feedback.
Thank you very much, Adam Senano. As we await that press statement from the office of the former President John Mahama, the General Secretary of the NDC, Joseph Sudinkiti, has been reacting to the President's decision for the matter to the Special Prosecutor. This is Mr. Sudinkiti's reaction to this all.
They just want to divert the attention of the nation, and that is what they are doing. Is their attempt to divert attention of the nation from this electoral register and the other burning issues. So it is much ado about nothing.
How do you draw this conclusion when the case was not even tried? This was not a Ghanaian court. This is a UK court. How do they have control over that?
Can I finish? I'm not sure the UK court called anybody from Ghana to testify or invited anybody from Ghana to do anything.
And that is Sir Johnson Sudinkiti. He is the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. Newsnight starts in a few minutes here on Joy 99.7 FM.